on the clock. I will accept that. Welcome to the end. Hang on. Oh, I'm like, that's a strange time. It was because it was Sunday. I was streaming later than usual. So when we left off, Apollo was letting me know that I could end the stream, and so I did. We were just given the option to end the trial, to say, oh, okay, so Dirk is innocent, and let's all go home and take a break. And Apollo's like, nope, no, I refuse, because we need to further prove his bracelet just responded to Amara saying how and why. Okay, right. I had predicted, and it seems I am correct, maybe, that Amara is not going to turn out to be the villain, right? Because she's actually Rafa's mom, and like she's been disappeared for all this time, but it wouldn't make sense for it to be, okay, she's been following Rafa around, helping her and everything, but now she's actually a villain this whole time. She's going to be put to death. No, it's going to turn out Khura'in is behind the whole thing, and was behind the whole thing from the beginning, 23 years ago. It seems the trial is far from over. Queen Amara, I believe you're still hiding something. But if you want to keep on playing this game of hide-and-seek, then let's start with that last statement you made. If I must. Oh, there it was. Got it.
Gotcha!
Queen Amara. You're not very comfortable talking about the 2 o'clock rite of channeling, are you? I can tell because a finger on your left hand twitched almost imperceptibly when you did. We call that the liar's twitch. Oh? And that pose you make. Is there something about your chest that makes you nervous? Whatever do you mean? The murder occurred at 2 p.m., and I'm pretty positive Amara was in the tomb at that time. So then why is she so self-conscious about her chest when she talks about the rite? The rite of channeling. Didn't Albie snap a picture of it? Queen Amara. I have here a picture of the rite of channeling. Of note, people are completely motionless if they are telling the truth. I mean, obviously, I can allow the if we have people like throwing fireballs and using JoJo stands, I will allow Apollo to have the ability to see the imperceptible twitches when people lie. It was secretly taken by a certain individual. Such insolence. I would have the perpetrator's name at once. Sorry, no can do. You see, I just happened to find it on the ground, so... Do you take me for a fool? How about we discuss the photo's origin a little later? Because in court, you can just say how you got something without setting up any kind of explanation for how it exists. There's something much more pressing at hand. I believe this photo merits further examination. I just wish there was more to see in it than darkness and more darkness. We might be able to make out a few more details with some image adjustments. Let's ask Emma if she can help. Oh, we're gonna zoom and enhance. Nice. Bailiff, please summon Detective Sky to the Hall of Justice. Here you are. Oh, no, like, here you are. I was able to obtain a much clearer image by raising the brightness. Oh, look at that. What's that right there? An injury? No, wait. I think it's a burn scar. Okay, so she wasn't channeling, so she was just in plain old disguise. You just put on the hat with the octopus tentacle hair. Wait a second. Your Eminence. You don't have a... Thanks, game. You don't have a burn scar like that on your chest. What's going on here? If the person in this photo isn't Queen Khura'in, then who is it? It's Edgeworth! Edgeworth, I knew it all along. That time that you were in the elevator and you got an elevator scar. They look just like burn scars.
Take that!
Queen Amara, the person in this photo isn't Queen Khura'in. It's you, posing as her, isn't it? The two of you look quite similar, but that's no surprise considering you're sisters. Even the shape and position of your facial tattoos are almost exactly the same. You're both capable of channeling spirits. Therefore, it would have been easy for you to impersonate Queen Khura'in. Ugh. Queen Amara, you have a burn scar on your chest, don't you? Please, remove your round mandala so we can see what's behind it for ourselves. Not sure why it broke. Not sure why it caught on blue fire and broke, but it did. Look! Zoom! It's the exact same burn scar as the one in the photo. I don't understand. I knew it. So the person in this photo really is... Yes, it's Queen Amara. This is absurd. Are you suggesting they switched places? Are you suggesting that they have the power of the Kawamori no Jutsu? Amara's confession earlier was also false? Mother, what is the meaning of this? Don't you see? This changes everything. We know for a fact that this photo was taken at 2 p.m., even though we said we found it on the ground. See, that's why you don't lie. That's why we don't lie. The exact time the murder took place. But... that would mean Queen Amara couldn't possibly have committed this crime. Exactly. She now has an ironclad alibi. So Minister Inga's killer couldn't have been Queen Amara. I am afraid I no longer follow defense. Was it not Queen Amara who channeled the minister and who channeled the minister and the accused to stage the crime? Who... Oh, yeah, okay. Did channel both of them. Right. It was channel... I was confused because it was such a dumb thing to do. But she... disguised herself as Dirk. Killed Inga. Went to Inga's house. Channeled Inga. Ran to the tomb as Inga. Changed back to herself. Waited. Knocked out Maya, who showed up as Dirk. Or, you know, Akuyo Taisan, forced him out of her body, and then tied up Maya, and then channeled Dirk. Right? No, okay. He's saying, wasn't it her who did both of those things? And we were saying, yes, she did, and now we're saying, no, she didn't. She channeled Dirk the final time, but Garan was the one who did who did it the first time. It was the murderer. No. What? Okay, I don't know. That fact has not changed, apparently. We have evidence placing her at the scene of the crime. Because pendants can't change possession. And Dirk could have only been in the tomb if she were channeling him. Which means, while Queen Amara did use spirit channeling to stage the crime, she didn't kill Minister Inga. His real killer is someone else. Polkun Ka'a! What's going on here? Was her mercifulness covering for someone? If Queen Amara is not the killer, then who is it? Isn't it obvious? Why was this rite held in the first place if Queen Garan wasn't going to perform it? Who was behind the two sisters switching places, and for what reason? The answers to these questions, along with the establishment of Queen Amara's alibi, can wait until next time. So thank you everybody for watching. We'll wrap up the stream for today. Thursday we will try to play a little bit more, maybe finish. No, let's keep going. A certain someone else's alibi. Obliterate? Wait, why did you say obliterate? Oh, the answers to these questions obliterate the alibi.
Take that!
Why, is this some kind of a joke? No, Your Majesty. I could never joke about something so curry. The only one who seemed to have a perfect alibi at the time of the murder was Her Eminence Queen Garan Sigatar Khura'in. Queen Amara, didn't your sister Queen Garan ask you to pose as her and perform the rite of channeling? Aye. And didn't she also have you drive Dirk's spirit from Ms. Faye's body? And then stage the crime to make it look like he was the minister's killer? New law, I can't legally kill people. She could do this at any time. Although, we'll have to see. Is there some reason? Is it going to turn out that she's also innocent? Is there yet another unseen person pulling the strings? Is Paul a Titian behind the whole thing? And at 2 p.m., while you were performing the rite of channeling as Queen Garan, didn't she kill Minister Inga while disguised as Dirk? Well, your mercifulness? That's not an answer. It's no use trying to hide it any longer. You need to tell us the truth now. Mother? Justice Minister Inga's true killer is... Many dots. He was killed by dot damage. I'm going to allow this. No. Oh no! The terrible midnight bomber with bombs at midnight. He got her, but with a gun, not a bomb. Ha 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 ha! I really did it. Your Eminence, my life is yours. Isn't he one of Garon's royal guards? Queen Amara! Bailiff, arrest that guardsman! Mother. Garon couldn't have, could she? She used mind hacking on one of her guards in order to make him pull the trigger. Someone call for an ambulance, quickly now! I'm still failing to understand Garon's motivation in allowing the trial to continue. Like, clearly, even at this point, even if she goes, okay, your laws changed, she's automatically guilty, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. Big news TM, by the way. Like, the longer she waits to do that, as she always has the option to, the longer she waits, the more likely it is that people are like, yeah, that queen, she's kind of a real jerk, if you ask me. You renewed your 14 sub and got Shadowbringers. Awesome. Happy days lie ahead of you. We're lucky the ambulance made it in time. But we've been forced into a recess for a while things get straightened out. I can't believe what just happened. Tell me about it. Do you think Garon put that guard up to it? If she did, she's going to regret it. No one gets away with something like that on my watch. Poor Queen Amara. Your benevolence? Any news on her condition? She is undergoing surgery at the hospital as we speak. They are giving her a 50-50 chance of survival, though. That Garon. Justice will be served. Why? Why did this have to happen? Or why did this happen? Just as we were finally reunited. Oh, Queen Amara. What was that about being reunited? Oh, it's nothing. Right. How are you, Hornhead? Alright, that would maybe suggest that when Rafa went to have the private conversation with Garon, that was when Garon said, I'm not even your real mother. It's actually Amara. So she might know already. Dirk Sadmati was your father in all but blood, after all. Shockingly rusty. Has your spear been let to rust? Do you need a crafter to repair it for you? I can do that. But not on your server. Thank you for your concern, your benevolence, but I'm Daijobu. Right now, we still have a trial to see through, so that's what I'm going to stay focused on. Hornhead, you are sturdier than your stature lets on. Just don't overdo it, okay, Apollo? Dirk, that was a real shocker, all right. Can't believe the dragon is dead. Say, AJ, I was wondering, when Dirk disappeared after I freed him, that's because Amara turned back into herself, right? Yeah, I suppose so. But I don't know if it was because Dirk's spirit willed it, or if it was part of Garon's or Amara's plan. Man, our dream of revolution. Now what are we gonna do? Is this it? Don't give up yet. There is a very good chance that Garon is the real culprit in all this. And if we can prove her guilt in court... Hey, you're right. That could be just the push we need. The dream lives on. Yes, it does. You know what that means, AJ. Fate of the revolution rests squarely on your shoulders. All in a day's work. Arg, who am I kidding? Oh, you switch over to Red Mage. Not bad. That's a ton of pressure. But this is what Dirk gave his life for, so I have to do this for him. The Honorable Rebel Dirk Sadmati. I would have loved to have spoken with him while he yet lived. Really? Why not? I mean, he seemed like quite an interesting man. Did she bump her head or something earlier? The trial is about to resume. The defense is to report to the courtroom at once. Already? After what just happened? I mean, presumably, if they had time to get her to a hospital, start performing surgery, and estimate her chances of survival, I think it's been a little while. The first thing Garan will do is respond to that last accusation, so you'd better stay on your toes, Apollo. I will, Mr. Wright. Ready or not, Garan, here comes justice.
Now then, let us resume today's proceedings.
Huh? Where's Nayuda? I must offer my apologies. I never imagined a royal guardsman would do such a thing. What? He wasn't acting under your orders?
How dare you cast such suspicion upon Her Eminence?
It is quite all right, Your Majesty. Suspicion is only natural under such circumstances. But rest assured that he acted alone, for I knew nothing of his plans. I don't believe that for a second. Now then, Your Majesty, regarding the murder of my husband, Minister Inga, I would like to offer a new possibility.
A new possibility, you say?
Indeed. For during the break, the real killer confessed to me.
What?
Bailiff, call the witness to the stand.
The real killer confessed?
What's she got up her sleeve this time? I have a really bad feeling about this. It's gonna be Albie. Ah, I see. He's the one who confessed?
Prosecutor Sadmati? You're the real killer?
I questioned him during the recess, as I felt that Amara had been covering for someone. So it was that he finally confessed his crime to me. Nayuda, you didn't really do it, did you? Her Eminence speaks the truth. It was I who killed Genesis. I killed Genesis because it could do what Nintendo couldn't. Nintendo couldn't. It was I who killed Justice Minister Inga. Nayuta! Yes, he also killed Janice. Rest in peace, Janice.
Peace! Prosecutor Sadmati, are you absolutely certain about this? A confession of this nature is curry indeed.
Yes, I am certain. For I killed him by my own hand. At least the real killer. At last the real killer has been revealed. How are we supposed to respond to this? Nayuda, retract your confession. Mr. Justice, it is not yet time for your cross-examination. Who cares about that? Admit it. It was Queen Garan who put you up to this. Oh, I saw an interesting thing on the Twitch subreddit. They were saying that they are rolling out the ability to permanently unlock emotes by cheering bits. I'll have to, like, ask around to see what you guys would prefer in terms of, like... So we've got there's the 3 emotes that I have, right? The, well, you know what 3. And... I get, like, on the one hand, I'd like everybody to be... I think Heaten's Gasp is the best one, right? And I'd like everybody to be able to get access to that if they want to, including just being able to go, hey, let me tip I think 1,000 bits is the lowest tier. Like, hey, tip 1,000 bits and you just get that forever. But on the other hand, I don't want to be like, I'd also like people to be able to get 2 emotes also. Like, if they wanted to, maybe, to be able to... I don't know if... I'll ask that, like, of the people who are subbed and sub to the channel regularly, would you want a different emote in the cheer slot so that you can cheer that one and get it, or does it not matter, or am I overthinking it, or whatever? Because I can also, like, I also wouldn't mind commissioning yet another emote and throwing it in there somehow. Who cares about... Oh, I already read that. She forced you into giving a confession, didn't she? You are out of line, Mr. Justice. Learn some self-restraint. Never gonna buy bits. Fair. Arng! But... Or do you have something that might prove that I did not commit this murder? That is... What do you think you're doing, you idiot? They're overpriced. I haven't been able to watch ads for bits in like a year. I used to... Back when I first started work, Twitch wasn't blocked at work, and it did allow you to, like, 3 a.m. was actually the best time to spam ads for bits because it didn't, there was some kind of a daily lockout, I think, that reset at, like, 3 a.m., right when I was, like, at work and could just sit there going, yep, bits, bits, bits. But I haven't been able to watch ads for bits for a long time. Overpriced. Terrible. Truly, the truth can set us free. Looks like Khura'in got to him somehow. I definitely didn't see this coming. Nayuta, why are you doing this? Why would you sacrifice even your life to do Khura'in's bidding? You know what? I think I did that. I think I might have also done that, now that I think about it. I didn't actually watch it. I just put it on and left the room.
Whatever the case may be, Prosecutor Sadmati, your testimony, please.
I could not remain silent while Her Eminence fell under suspicion for this crime. It was I who murdered Justice Ministeringa. He had to die for the future of Khura'in. I consider it divine judgment cast upon a fiend who sought to assassinate our monarch. My mother was simply covering for me. I am ashamed I let her go so far for my sake. You do understand what you're doing, right, Nayuta? You're sentencing yourself to death if you're found guilty. But not me. I'll be fine. If that is the court's verdict, then so be it. I must obey the law above all else. The law, Nayuta? Or the queen?
I am the law.
Enough. This blather has nothing to do with the witness's testimony.
Please address any issues you may have during the cross-examination, defense.
Oh, I will. I'm going to blow his problematic testimony to smithereens. Start with this. What do you mean by that? Minister Inga was planning to assassinate Her Eminence in a coup d'etat. I had to nip this evil in the bud, even if it cost me the purity of my soul. So you're saying that the death of another is a reasonable price to pay to protect the Queen? Long have we remained independent under the authority of our spirit medium queens. We command the people's awe and respect with the power to commune with the dead. Without such a monarch, our kingdom would lose its standing in the world. I love this idea that they're important on the world stage because they have spirit channeling. It's that, like, that's how far we've come from. Marset is like, oh my gosh, like, this is so silly. They're going to accept spirit channeling as evidence, and now we're like, spirit channeling is worldwide news. Like, it's front page news that this country has the ability to channel the dead, and is the reason that it is, like, was superpower. Despite being, like, 2 square miles. But if spirit channeling is so important, why did you have Queen Amara perform the rite? I'm afraid my elder sister is quite capricious. She would fulfill her duty only when the desire to struck, as sporadic as that was. It was, therefore, something she did on a whim. There was no meaning behind it. A meaningless whim? It's hard to press a statement like that. Now, if I may return to my testimony.
Hold it!
Divine judgment? Yes, I rendered judgment upon the minister on behalf of the Holy Mother. Are you saying the Holy Mother guided you? No, Her Holiness would never condone killing in her name, regardless of circumstances. As such, I believe my defiled soul will be damned to hell. But I do not regret what I have done. I willingly sacrificed my soul to protect this kingdom's future. Arg! Snap out of it already, Nayuda! So his motive comes from a place of faith, huh? Why does that sound completely credible when it's coming from him? Well, Amara expressed a similar motive. As for her mercifulness, she is truly deserving of her title.
Hold it!
Alright, this better give me something. So you killed Minister Inga and Queen Amara staged the crime? Is that how it went? Precisely. My mother is as clever. My mother is as clever as she is kind. She sought to conceal my crime by taking all of the guilt upon herself. Yet another lie. I need to poke a hole in his testimony. But how? Nayuda, could it be you? You didn't realize that Nana was actually Queen Amara, your own mother? That is not as strange as you might think. Much time had passed since we last met, after all. Right. 23 years ago, was it? When Dirk saved her after the supposed assassination attempt? No, Mr. Justice. It was 15 years ago that Dirk abducted my mother. Huh? That's weird. Are you sure about that? I remember it clearly. I was around 10 years old at the time. Nayuda, please add that last statement to your testimony. "15 years ago." So, we believe him. We believe that is true, but this contradicts it.
Objection!
You're saying that Dirk made off with Queen Amara 15 years ago. But that's strange, because I heard something very different from Dirk. He said that they ran off together 23 years ago. That is impossible. I know for a fact it was 15 years ago. Well, I have evidence that contradicts your statement. How do you explain this photo? Dirk said it was taken 23 years ago. He said that? He did, but if we take what you just said as fact, then there's something in this photo that doesn't make any sense. I was about to say we've pointed this out before, and we're going to point to the book, but no, we're going to point to the baby.
This isn't making any sense to me, so I suppose I should ask. What does not make sense if the photo is only 15 years old?
And it's funny, the last time we pointed this, and I was already thinking, like, okay, they're going to have us point out the book again. It's the baby! Now, Yuta, this discrepancy may not be directly related to this case, but I don't think we can simply overlook it either. Bamp! There's a wiretap in the drawer. That's the discrepancy. Dirk said the baby in the photo was you, but that doesn't make any sense if the photo's only 15 years old. After all, you said you were around 10 then, right? He's definitely sweating bullets over something. Apollo, if this baby isn't Nayuta... Wait, you don't think... Did Queen Amara have another child while she was on the run? What? And just what if that child were being held hostage? Actually, I'm only 14. That's a reasonable age for the prosecutors in this universe. That actually does tie up this contradiction. Nayuta, is that why you obey Queen Garon's every command? You presume too much. No, him and Apollo are the same age. That's why Queen Amara was trying to take the rap as well. To protect this other child. A child born 15 years ago. They would have to be someone who's around 14 or 15 years old now. I love the idea that there must be some people who get this far into the case and still don't know, like, who are actually surprised by this. Like, wait a second. This is just a guess. I believe I know someone who fits the bill. This also explains the strange behavior. This is the child who was born to Dirk and Amara 15 years ago. Wait, where's Gumshoe? It's Gumshoe, right? It's baby Gumshoe? I was sure of it, but he's not here. Oh, we'll just pick her instead. All those strange statements they kept making, now they all make sense. Prosecutor Sadmati, may I ask you something? Of course, your benevolence. I've been meaning to ask you this since yesterday. Did you know about Queen Amara and about me? From where did you hear such a thing? From Mother, and only yesterday. Rafa was carrying on about telling the truth to the people, so I told her. I told her what the truth really was, for it is up to a mother to discipline her child. I see. I cannot accept this.
Is something the matter, your benevolence?
Queen Amara is lying. It makes no sense. Queen Amara would not have killed my father. Why? Why did this happen? Just as we were finally reunited. Yeah, we're now flashing back to things that happened, like, in this stream. Now I see, Nayuta, why you do what you're told. The other child born to Dirk and Queen Amara, what? Mr. Justice, I believe I know what you are about to say, but I cannot allow you to name an innocent soul as the child of terrible sinners. I thought you might try to stop me. After all, simply revealing this information endangers who you've been trying to protect. Erg. I think this should make it clear what I'm talking about. This is the chink in your armor. The reason why you fear for your siblings' Uh-oh. Oh. There's a thing in here that says, like, children are responsible for the crimes of their parents or something like that, right? The idea that the sins of the father... Okay, yep. Right there. I knew that that was going to come up eventually. And that is a file full of information that Dirk collected on what happened 23 years ago. Of particular note right now is of what's written here. The sins of the father are visited upon his children. This deeply held idea is why you were expelled from the royal family. Which means it wouldn't bode well for your sibling either, if she were revealed to be Dirk's daughter. Gnrk. You became a prosecutor to bring down Queen Khura'in, but at some point you came to serve the very regime you despised, and that was because the Queen found this chink in your armor. That's how she came to use your sister against you. Nayuda, have you been keeping this secret all this time? Have you been trying to protect me? You are an innocent party to all this. I live only to safeguard the law and serve the country and queen from which it flows. One such as you, who is destined to ascend to the throne, need not fret over one such as I. No, I cannot accept that. What you say is, it's malarkey. Don't you even care what happens to you? Before country, queen, law, and everyone's future, my personal feelings are of no consequence. That is why I resigned myself to my fate. I know I must accept the status quo without any thoughts of change. Spoken like a true prosecutor and patriot. Is Big Boss going to salute him in tears at the end over his gravestone? In memory of a patriot who saved the world? I shall continue to rule Khura'in until the day Rafa succeeds me, for that is what is best for our kingdom. I know, Your Eminence. Yours is no small sacrifice, but I promise you this. In exchange for your life, the child shall remain safe, and the kingdom shall prosper. We're doing a terrible, terrible job of keeping this secret. That is all I can ask for with my meager existence. Nayuda, is this really the new you? Resigning yourself to the will of another and killing any hope you held for the future? Wait a minute. Future? That's it! I have a gun, I'll shoot him with future bullets. That solves most court problems. No. The Nayuda I knew would never let himself be turned into this. Now, Your Majesty, if you would hand down your verdict. That was a very energetic objection. They don't usually... The letters don't usually jump up and down like that, do they? Or maybe they do. Shoot them with normal bullets. We tried that already. We missed and hit the queen. Our aim is terrible. You can say you're simply accepting your fate, Nayuda. Let's kill everyone in this room and go back to Japanifornia. Not a bad idea. But I know that deep down, there's still hope in your heart. Oh, Holy Mother, preserve me. It's the kind of hope that perseveres through the most desperate of times, and it's what binds you, me, and Dirk together as a family. I know because this has demonstrated to me that you haven't lost all hope yet. Oh, Nayuda didn't confiscate it from him.
Take that!
When you interrogated Dirk... Perfect trial, by the way. Perfect trial, boys. Get ready. You actually said badge. I didn't catch that, but that's really funny. They have done it before, where they've gone, like, the way to win this trial is by showing your badge. Like, as the last... Somehow, through some contrivance, showing your badge wins the case. In fact, didn't that happen for the one that Marstead just did? Where he showed his badge and showed that it was, you know, different than El Tigre's, maybe? Or whatever. When you interrogated Dirk, you confiscated all of his possessions as potential evidence, all except this. Did he take your attorney's badge, too? No. I thought it strange, but... just when it looked like he was going to take it from me, he changed his mind. So tell me, Nayuta, why didn't you take his badge? You couldn't bear to take it from him, could you? And I know why. It's because this badge means something special to us.
Hey, Dirk, why do you still wear your badge? You're not a lawyer anymore, right?
This badge is my heart and soul, son. I'll never stop trying to realize my dream, not until my very last breath. A dragon never yields, right? Exactly. Nayuta, Apollo, I vow to restore Khura'in's legal system to its rightful state one day. I want to pass on to you a world where you can live free from that fear of tyranny. You may say you've given up, but that's not how it really is it? You never gave up, and you never will, because you still believe that all of the wrongs will be righted someday, don't you? The second line of dots. It's longer than the first one. Oh, and now there's more. You are very perceptive, Mr. Justice. It may very well be as you say. Why did I not confiscate this badge? Even I did not know until now. Perhaps I was waiting for him to save me. Are you Saladin? Save you? Yes, save me, like he did on that day. Oh, when they were drowning in the river. What father wouldn't risk his life to save his own children? Nayuta, Apollo, don't you ever hesitate to call when you need me, understand? Someday, he would come and free our family from the chains of the past. Perhaps deep down, that is what I believed. I believed in Dirk, our father. Nayuta, I knew you. However, Daga, Shikashi, tada no yume da. It was but a dream, and now that dream has died, murdered, along with Dirk. So now, as the eldest, the responsibility falls squarely onto me. No matter the cost, I must protect her. Please, try to understand, Apollo. Understand why I shall bear all of this sin. It is the only way. But...
Such insolence!
You have wasted more than enough of my time, lawyer. Do you not see the futility of your desperate floundering, the immutability of his duty? It is time to accept defeat. Arg! Now watch as the hammer of justice comes down upon your dear brother. Your majesty, the verdict, if you will.
Yes, Your Eminence, but I thought that was your job. You did it earlier.
Objection!
Wait a second. What do I do?
Does the defense wish to raise an objection?
There's got to be some way to save Nayuta. Apollo, it all goes back to that incident 23 years ago. It's branded him the son of a criminal, literally, because he actually has the brand on his hand, I'm sure. As soon as he takes his glove off, we're going to see it. So if we could once and for all prove that Dirk didn't try to assassinate Amara, Wright, Nayuda and Rafa's father would no longer be viewed as a criminal. But I thought there wasn't any evidence left, because it was all destroyed in the fire, and Dirk investigated the matter for years but never managed to learn anything new. Really? Nothing at all? Could an exceptional lawyer like Dirk try that long and really uncover nothing at all? He had over 2 decades, Apollo. Huh? He's right. I doubt Dirk would have gone to his grave without discovering something new. He must have secretly planted something to topple Khura'in with somewhere. Take another look at the evidence. You just might find what we need to break out of this situation with in there. Got it.
If the defense is done stalling for time, I shall now render my verdict.
No, wait. About the assassination attempt 23 years ago, the defense has some new information it would like to share.
You do? Well, we had intended to deliberate that case in the course of this trial.
Dirk, did you leave something behind for me? The fate of the father is the fate of the son. And my father's been murdered, so I guess I'm dead now. Is there some connection I'm missing here?
Very well, then.
What is the source of your new information? I don't actually know. I mean, I guess there's this, right? I don't think this is the right time for this, but it has to show up sooner or later. There's nothing in this picture, though. Like, there's nothing useful in this picture. Maybe Emma will have to zoom and enhance on that one, too. Arson incident involved Amara's private residence that is already known. Was slipped a sleeping pill and perished in the fire, which she wasn't. The lighter found at the scene had Dirk's fingerprints on it. Curious. Oh wait, is the fact that his name is now known that counts? That I guess he didn't know his name before, but they do now, so somebody could... Okay, we're going to have a tearful reunion as Apollo's father gets channeled and says what really happened. But what's the new information? Is it that or this? I guess it's this. I guess this is the new information, right? And then later we'll what order do they want these in? They want both of them because this explains who he is and why it's important that his name was never known. Yeah, I guess the picture itself is the new information.
Take that!
A photograph? Yes, every time it makes me laugh. Do you recall the traveling musician who died in that fire 23 years ago?
How could anyone forget such a painful chapter in our history? The poor fellow was caught up in the blaze that was meant for Queen Amara. We never knew his identity, though, as his belongings were burnt to ashes.
Well, about that, the truth is, he was my biological father.
Oh?
What? Why, of course, with his photo and her benevolence. Exactly. We might be able to prove Dirk completely innocent, and that would free her from the infamy... Oh, that would free her from the infamy of having criminal blood in her veins. Because here in Khura'in, we can witness the final memories... Oh, we're not going to channel him. Okay, we're just going to see his final moments. What utter nonsense! There was no evidence left in the wake of that blaze. I made sure of it when I started it. That's what you think. But Dirk went to the ends of the earth to bring this little souvenir back for us. He did. Yep, and boy is it the best piece of evidence ever. He knew that with it, we'd finally be able to conclusively settle the matter here in court and save his children. Your Majesty, the defense requests that we hold a divination seance for this new victim. What a waste of time. The events of 23 years past have already been deliberated at length.
Objection!
But wasn't Dirk on trial for that incident as well today? So we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we failed to look into this new lead, would we? Ugh!
As the presiding judge, I will now share my thoughts on the matter. The attempted assassination of Queen Amara is a case we can ill afford to leave open, and I believe that the final memories of the victim will prove to be very important. Therefore, it is the opinion of this court that we should conduct another divination seance.
Why you? Apparently, yeah. Yeah, they have tremendously backed off from Amara being, or from Garan being able to just go, I'm in charge. You're guilty automatically. There's no more laws. I ate the law book. It no longer applies. If you knew the full name of the victim seen in this photo, you'd be able to perform a divination seance, right? Of course. Leave it to me. Thank you. My father's full name is... And then someone shoots him. Jove Justice. All right. Oh, right. Okay, so bonus dance. Right, we're gonna dance again.
Now, your benevolence, please commence the divination seance when you are ready.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Impossible. Truly impossible. Well, it goes off of face as well as name. Doesn't work unless you... That's why the photograph is important. It's not just that we know his name. She also needs to know his face. This makes at least the 10th dance in the game, right? Burning, heat, crying, a baby, pain, a hand, metallic, pain, something. I saw someone's hand in the mirror.
The spirit of the victim has granted us a window into his final moments. It would appear the divination seance was a success.
So those were my father's final moments. That baby we saw must have been you, Apollo. That's conjecture. Objection. I will now decipher the experience of the deceased. Are you ready, Hornhead? Yes, please proceed. Very well. Here are my interpretations of the facts as gleaned from the seance vision. Someone attempted to assassinate Queen Amara by setting her residence ablaze. Hornhead's father happened to stop by and was knocked out by the assassin. Dirk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter found at the scene of the crime. That is how he was determined to be the assassin. Hornhead's father tried to save his son, but sadly he perished in the attempt. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. Oh, let us save. Savety save. I do really hope that we can finish this today. I hadn't even considered that there would be more than 3 hours left in the game, but we'll have to just keep going. My father's final memories, they're right here for everyone to see, but can any of them unlock the truth behind what happened 23 years ago? Probably. I mean, otherwise, how would you beat the game? After 6 games, have you learned nothing? So what is that in the... Oh, it was a picture of the... It showed... Oh, they were holding gloves. Or they... Not holding. They had gloves on. I think it's too blurry there. We gotta wait till they drop the lighter.
Objection!
Dirk's fingerprints were discovered. Perfect trial, by the way, if I may say again. Dirk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter that was found at the crime scene. However, fortunately, they were eating pie that night. The hand holding the lighter... Oh, even that would have worked, I guess, even though it was blurry. The hand holding the lighter in the seance vision appears to be gloved. Ah, I believe you're right. What could this mean? This calls into question whether the hand in the vision really was Dirk's. If only we could make out the details a little better. Very well, I will attempt to focus a bit more on what the deceased saw. Perhaps that will help refine the seance vision. You should have just done it right the first time. It does seem there was a glove on that hand. Those hands have claws on them. And gloves don't have fingers, right? He's got the fingerless gloves. Still, what significance could that have? It means that Dirk's fingerprints got on the lighter at some other time. Somebody could have even put them there after the fire. All you have is pure speculation, while the fact remains that they are his fingerprints. Therefore, it stands to reason that Dirk was the one who used the lighter.
Objection!
It just means I have to prove that the figure in the vision is someone else, using the information in my father's final memories. Either way, it seems that I must revise my insights. Okay, she's updated her insights. Time to go over them and see if there are any new inconsistencies to be found. She also changed the vision a little bit, so let's watch. Burning in heat. Crying. What? What was that on the floor? Oh, it's the chair is tipped over. Fork, goblet. So what the... It's like a diamondy pattern. Metallic sound. Oh, hold... Was that there before? I suppose it was. It just flickers very quick, right? Happened to stop by. Oh, I guess saying we don't know. That is disproved maybe by whatever the pictures are on that thing.
Objection!
I guess. Wait. And this means that the real culprit is... The figure in this vision is clearly not Dirk. The distinctive band around the wrist gloves... What? Okay, I thought it was the blue tattoos, but okay. The band. Ah! That design. It can't be. Oh, that's right. He wore those weirdo cuffs for whatever reason. I forget why.
Take that!
That photo? So you do believe the culprit to be... Justice Minister Inga had cuffs with the same exact pattern on them.
You're referring to the cuffs of justice, correct?
Yes, I hear they're a traditional part of Khura'in's Justice Minister's attire. Oh, but who was the Justice Minister at the time? Garan.
But what does this tell us?
It tells us that the figure in the vision is none other than Khura'in. Come on. Inga Karkul Khura'in? No, it wasn't. No. Not my father!
So he plotted the assassination of the former queen, as well as the current one?
Honest, man. So then Dirk's innocent of both charges. The Defiant Dragons, they've been right all along. Nayuda. What you've proposed is not possible, Apollo. For back then, Inga Karkul Khura'in was not the Minister of Justice. What? The Justice Minister 23 years ago was... you, Queen Garan. What? Oh, right. She served as the Minister of Justice before succeeding the throne. I guess she also prosecuted the assassination attempt 23 years ago as one. So then, the figure in this vision is actually... Your Eminence, it's you, isn't it?
This is madness. Why would Her Eminence do such a thing?
Because she would ascend to the throne. She wanted to usurp the throne from her sister Amara. That's why she tried to assassinate her. I'm noticing that so far, she is an abysmally poor prosecutor. Like, there have been so few, like, valid objections where she's been like, objection, you can't say that, or objection, here's what's wrong with your argument, or objection, here is new evidence that was hidden from you that proves, like, disproves what you're saying. She's done almost none of that this whole case. She's just sat there and like, done her little hand thing and dotted.
I find this all very hard to swallow.
Your Eminence, are you the one responsible for tearing my family apart, Lisa? And was it you who killed my father? Well, Your Eminence, I'm asking you a question.
Insolence!
Peasants. Always carrying on about things of no import. You do not deny it then? You concealed the truth and used me for your own designs. Yeah, but killing's not against the law when I did it. Oh, Nayuda, spare me your feeble-minded line of questioning. Even if Dirk were cleared of all charges, it shall still be I who decides Rafa's fate. You do wish for her to be queen someday, do you not? Remember, the child lives only by my good graces. Now kneel before me and fulfill your end of the bargain by offering me your head. Your Eminence, I am done heeding your commands. Even as you used my sister against me, I still believed you. I believed that protecting your secrets was in the best interest of this kingdom. But you have been deceiving me all the while. Nayuda! Nayuda, you dare defy me? Your Eminence, I can turn the other cheek no more. Therefore, I hereby retract my confession in the murder of Justice Minister Inga.
Retract, you say?
Just take out your book. No backsies. She's got to have enough ink to write no backsies. Dirk, the final piece of evidence you left behind has released Nayuda from his suffering, and now he's finally free. In all this time, not once did I reflect on my own conduct, for I had believed all was fate. Lost in my own sense of resignation, I was unable to wake from my despair. But you, Apollo, you have awakened me with your demonstration of our Father's creed.
A dragon never yields.
I will carry on Dirk's legacy and fulfill his dream. Hear me, Garan. I will cast you down from your bloody throne. Long live the revolution. She only had enough ink for 2 laws, you think? She's still got all those rings on. They all have ink in them. Rurg, insolent fool. Now even you prattle on about revolution? Don't you see that I have like 5 guys with guns? It's all you need to stop a revolution. Would you look at that? Well, Apollo, it seems we're finally making some headway down the road that Dirk carved out for us. Yeah. Now, if we could just prove Garon's guilt. Haven't we? we could continue on down that road, toward the revolution Dirk dreamed of.
Your Eminence, you have been accused of the crime committed 23 years ago. Would you like to say anything in your defense?
Not so fast, your majesty, for the cuffs could have been stolen and used without my knowledge. So you see, they can hardly be considered proof of anything. This is the first thing she has said all stream that's been any kind of, this is a lawyer argument.
Why, I believe you're right.
Arg, but we know she's guilty. Well, lawyer, is there any other evidence you would have me refute? That's the way it always works. Like all those times when, Nagito would open his mouth and start speaking un-British accented Japanese. This isn't very faithful to the original. Unfortunately, this photo was the last piece of evidence Dirk left me, so as far as evidence goes, I've got nothing else regarding that case from the past. However, now that Prosecutor Sadmati has retracted his confession, we'll have to re-deliberate the current case from scratch. Yes, the defense speaks the truth. Even though it is clear who the guilty party is. Queen Garan, the defense accuses you of the murder of Justice Minister Inga Khura'in. This is what defense attorneys do. They accuse people of murder. It actually has never failed to happen in a single Phoenix Wright case. Gnrick. We even managed to do it in the civil case, didn't we? We still said, okay, we're going to accuse someone of murder.
But do you have any evidence, defense?
Evidence that will prove Garan was the killer? There is still one more avenue for us to explore, Mr. Justice. There is? Minister Inga's final memories. In them, the minister's killer posed as Dirk. Therefore, one must ask, how did the killer dispose of their disguise? Hey, you're right. A lot of blood would have spattered onto the killer. So the blood-soaked clothes would have to have been dealt with somehow. If they're still around somewhere, then... I was wondering what absurd idea you would concoct next. Clothing can be disposed of almost anywhere. This entire island is covered in incinerators. I doubt you could find them now. She's the ultimate base... She's secret... Oh my god. If you rearrange the letters in Garan Segator Khura'in, it spells Leon Kuwata. She's the ultimate baseball star, and she threw the clothes into an incinerator. Then you don't know us very well. Your benevolence? Yes? On the day of your father's murder, you had been watching the courtyard from 2 p.m. Now, during that time, you saw Queen Garan, did you not? Yes, I did. I saw my mother entering the palace from the courtyard, but I was told not to mention it because it had nothing to do with my father's murder.
Rafa,
you would not dare! When the queen headed into the palace, did she have Dirk's clothes in her possession? No, she did not. So, maybe she disposed of them somewhere in the courtyard. The police did a thorough sweep of the area following the crime, but they did not find anything resembling Dirk's clothes. But you knew that already, didn't you, prosecutor? Yes, I admit no clothing was found. So you admit that you were merely speculating, chasing phantoms and delusions of evidence that never existed. This makes no sense. Clothing doesn't just disappear like that, unless it was made out of sugar. If Garan was... No, she made the clothes out of her hair. She really is Bayonetta. If Garan wasn't carrying any clothes, she must have gotten rid of them somewhere. Somewhere where she thought they'd never be found. Where they'd never be found, huh? Oh no! I kind of wasn't following this all that well. It was, she went... I have to present the fact that she knows both Tatsumaki and Honoyo spells. She could have used those to start a fire. Burn the clothing. So they're saying that she killed him here. She was in Dirk's clothes, but was herself, not channeling anyone. And then she left from here, but didn't have the... Alright, we're just gonna say in the tomb. Somewhere in the tomb.
The tomb? You believe the clothing was hidden there?
Yes. It's the only place it can be. Okay, good. Could they have been in the sarcophagus? It's either that or it's in the broken... Like, that hasn't come into play yet. We know that, Inga shot... If we say sarcophagus, they're gonna say... Okay, when... Did those clothes have to be used again at some point? We did already look inside the doll and they weren't there, but it was the clothes wound up all bloody, and they put them back on after... God, the sequence of events is so confusing. Maya, channeling Dirk, wearing clean clothes, walked in. Amara used the Magatama to force him out. Maya fell unconscious, got tied to the chair. Then... At that point, there must have been 2 sets of Dirk's clothes, right? No, hold on. Dirk's body was already... Dirk's... Okay. Three sets of Dirk's clothes? Hold on. This guy has so much clothing. At the time of the murder... Dirk already died, right? Dirk died a few days ago. And was kept in the sarcophagus the whole time, maybe? I'm gonna say sarcophagus because this thing hasn't come up at all yet. Of course, that makes perfect sense. Good, because I still wanted a perfect trial. The clothes weren't simply hidden; they were returned to where they belonged. Ugh! And by that you mean the killer would have had to get Dirk's clothes from somewhere. Luckily, they were right there. Yes, of course. At the time of the minister's murder, Dirk's body was already in the sarcophagus, so the killer could have simply borrowed his clothes. Right, before the minister entered the tomb, the killer put on Dirk's clothes, then hid behind the curtain above the sarcophagus. After the minister was killed, Dirk's clothes were returned to his body. Alright, I did figure it out. So what? This is all just this is still all speculation. We know not whether those clothes were actually used in the murder. Therefore, you cannot prove that they are somehow connected to this case.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong, but I believe you already knew that. These clothes were definitely used during the minister's murder because of this. I have no idea what they're going to ask. Oh no, this is the first time I'm stumped. What proves that these were worn during Inga's murder and not some other set of clothes? This blood... Okay, I think it's... This blood stain looks different, right? This looks like newer blood. Is that what they want? This is new blood? This blood all over here is from when he was shot in the chest 3 times. This is blood being splattered onto him. Or onto... Yeah. Let's try that. Elbow blood. The bloodstains on Dirk's chest are no doubt the result of being shot by the minister. However, that doesn't explain everything. There is also some blood spatter extended from his left elbow to his abdominal area. Again with the bat. I believe this blood spatter came from... That was from Inga.
Take that!
If the killer wore these clothes during the murder, then the blood spatter must have come from Minister Inga. I had thought it was all Dirk's, but that makes sense. Only one way to be sure, though. Let's get those stains analyzed right away. Indeed, this may be the conclusive evidence we need to prove the Queen's guilt. You cannot prove it was I who hid those clothes. They very well could have been hidden by a third party. But could they really? I'd say the possibility of someone other than Khura'in hiding the clothes does not exist. I don't know why. We draw blood so we don't have to draw bullet holes. Also, it's a very small caliber gun. It could have gone in between the fibers. No, it's just not possible. Your Eminence, I recall you saying the following. The key to Amara's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it. Ah. That was your own testimony, word for word.
Why, you insolent.
Admit it. Only you could have hidden Dirk's clothes after they were used in the murder. And that means you are the one who killed Justice Minister Inga.
Insignificant worm. You dare accuse me, the ruler of Khura'in.
Do not think for one moment that such impudence will be tolerated. I'm afraid such arguments are invalid in this sacred hall, Your Eminence. Because even monarchs aren't above the law. Where are you getting that from? Just curious. It's the end of the line for you, Queen Khura'in. Time to come down from that lofty throne and face justice. Narg. Final form, final form, final form, final form. Me? Face justice? Surely you jest. You are in no position to force my hand, lawyer. Oh? Surely you haven't forgotten about the Defense Culpability Act. Those who would support criminals will be deemed just as guilty. In short, should I be convicted of murdering my husband, your dear brother, who delivered false testimony in my defense, shall also be found guilty. What? That can't be. Can it?
By delivering false testimony in the course of protecting a guilty party, he would certainly be judged by this court as having supported a criminal, and the Defense Culpability Act would most definitely come into play.
The law is so broad that anyone could be convicted under it.
When it comes to the DC Act, even I am conflicted, and yet, as it currently stands, it is the law of the land. And as you said earlier, no one is above the law.
Of all the absurd things I've seen, this law really takes the cake. Now what? What can we even do at this point? You need not look so forlorn. Dirk has been cleared of all charges, so let us leave all thoughts of the real killer and revolution in the past, where it belongs. She wants us to just let her off scot-free, and yet, I don't see any other choice. We cannot yield to her here, Apollo. If it will move the revolution forward, I will gladly face the DC Act. Now, do it! Accuse Queen Garan of the crime she has committed. But...
Insolence!
What you speak of is not revolution. Our kingdom will not function without its sovereign. And Rafa cannot ascend to the throne, for she is as... Is that an issue? Okay. Rafa cannot ascend to the throne. She's doing a terrible job. Like, she did almost nothing whatsoever to... No, I guess, whatever. As she is yet incapable of channeling spirits. Thus, to accuse me is to wish destruction upon our fair kingdom, you terrorist. Terrorist? If you would still insist on accusing me, then as ruling sovereign of Khura'in, I proclaim the following. Finally. It's finally off cooldown. She's doing it again, and it's going to be something really pointless. All who imperil the crown, no matter the reason, shall be subject to immediate execution upon the Queen's orders. What? Immediate execution? Do you still not comprehend? Then let me be clear. For the sake of this kingdom's future, and in accordance with the laws of Khura'in, I command that you be put to death at once. Why don't people use their strongest attack right away? Isn't this going a bit too far? Why is the Grand Royal Guard dumb? They were on standby in case of an attack by foolishly optimistic terrorist. Now, if you would continue to oppose me, the very embodiment of the law, then under my regal authority, you shall all be put to death.
Objection!
Oh, come on! This is insane, even for you. You can't possibly get away with something like this. This is a court of law. You can't just order our execution without due process. Now look, Apollo, truth and due process are certainly important, but so is your life. So think before you speak again. But... Please, Apollo, do not make this any worse than it already is. I cannot lose you to the Twilight Realm, too. Arg! What am I supposed to do? How do I win against an opponent that can rewrite the law as she sees fit? How can I ever bring her to justice? Is this really how it all ends? It is your life or your accusation, lawyer. You cannot hope for both. It is time to cease this insanity. What do I do? Should I accuse Queen Khura'in? I don't know, should I?